Welcome, everyone. It is October the 28th. This is Nightly Newsy News. Thank you, Wolfram, for all of your Modly mod duties. Good evening, Tammy Bogard and Casper. Thank you for your mod duties. Shalom D. Uh, Puddletown, thank you for becoming a member and upgrading your membership to, oh gosh, Hand Workers United, I think. I am going to be working on better membership stuff. Uh, it's just been a couple 2 weeks, I'm trying to get things situated in my head, but I have a little bit of the chaos demon in me. Good evening, Jedi Jess and Casper, if I didn't say it before. Fun Diane, Spirit Fleck, Alice G, Peter A. Welcome, everybody. So we have some sad news. Now, I can tell you that I only watched this movie once, and I didn't quite get it, possibly because I was young and my mom wanted me to watch it to kind of like, this is what we used to watch when I was a kid, and I wasn't quite interested. Unfortunately, David Harris, the actor from The Warriors, has passed away at 75. Now, not remembering this movie or really anyone, I don't that's David Harris. Okay. I was like, I don't know which one is David Harris. David Harris, the actor who played Cochise in the cult film The Warriors, died Friday at the age of 75, his daughter Davina Harris said. Davina Harris was while speaking to the New York Times, said that her father's cause of death was cancer. Harris has over 50 screen credits on IMDb, which includes appearances on popular shows like The White Shadow in the Heat of the Night, MacGyver, NYPD Blue, but perhaps his most recognizable role was as Cochise in The Warriors, a Walter Hill directed film about a gang from Brooklyn who are wrongly accused of killing a gang leader in the Bronx. The film took on a cult status in the years since its release, spawning parodies, video games, and even a 28-mile marathon that retreads the character's journey from the Bronx to Coney Island. Quote, what Walter did with the movie, it wasn't a typical gang movie. It was futuristic. Was an interracial gang, which was really interesting, Harris once said of the movie's appeal during an interview on a web series, Cardio. It wasn't a gang that just carried a bunch of weapons. In fact, the Warriors didn't have any force multipliers. We didn't, and we never shot a force multiplier. In a film full of eccentrically dressed characters, including a gang member who wore roller skates and overalls and others who dressed in baseball uniforms with face paint, Harris's character of Cochise was one of the most recognizable, with a feather headband and an abundance of turquoise hanging from his neck. Harris said in a 2019 interview uh, that he was still recognized as the guy from the Warriors whenever he traveled abroad to promote other projects. It feels great to know you're part of some film that's history, Harris said. There are certain films that are just iconic, he later added, and certain actors are blessed enough to get in a film that is just iconic and people are going to talk about for the next, 1,000 years. So I am glad. I do need a new sewing machine. Don't tell Mr. Mo because he says I need a new hobby. Like I need, well, another child. Let's be real. Probably don't need either. But what are you going to do? I'm glad he was surrounded by family. And like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of the movie, mostly because it was before my time. And if I'm going to watch a movie nowadays, it's usually animated or has Godzilla in it. So, unfortunately, no. Now, in a headline ripped straight from "What in the hell are you idiot children thinking?" This ridiculous child right here, subway car surfing, because why not? Your mothers need heart attacks. I mean, seriously, kids. Why don't you just, put your mom in a grave already? Oh, Lord, don't do this. From Mama Mo to everyone with functioning brain cells, don't do this. What is wrong with you? You You freaking children. Heart-stopping video captures New York City subway surfing as a tragic trend claims another teen victim. Quote, they do it every day. Oh, dear Lord. A frightening video shows a person running on top of a moving train in the same Queens station where a teenage girl died and her young friend was actually critically injured while subway surfing over the weekend. A heart pounding clip taken Thursday by a concerned New Yorker near the 111th Street station in Corona shows someone precariously jogging on top of an elevated subway car. A second clip from April shows at least five youngsters atop another subway car in the same corridor along Roosevelt Avenue. Quote, they do it every day, Cara Thompson, who shot the earlier video and whose balcony overlooks the elevated track, told the Post on Monday. Why? Why? Your mother does not need this kind of terror in her life. Do not do this. I mean, I never thought I would say this, but if you're going to take, crazy risk, bring back planking everywhere, everywhere. Or, Tide Pods at this point. Don't run on top of subway cars. I see it almost every day. They do it on top of the train, the express. They're mostly groups of four or six. It's so crazy and it scares the hell out of me. On Sunday, two teen girls plummeted from a southbound 7 train at around 11 p.m. at the 111th Street station, leaving one with life threatening injuries and unfortunately killing the second. The sixth subway surfing fatality this year. A 13-year-old girl in Brooklyn was pronounced dead at the scene, and unfortunately, this looks like one of the victims, or I guess one of the young children that unfortunately passed away doing this incredibly dangerous thing. A 13-year-old Brooklyn girl was pronounced dead at the scene while her 14-year-old friend remained in critical condition as of Monday, law enforcement officials said. Blood spattered on the sidewalk and empty sneakers marked the chilling scene in the aftermath. The news of the latest senseless death brought a look of anguish to the face of Adolfo Senbria, whose 13-year-old son, Adolfo Cenzaro, was killed last week in another Queens subway stunt. Quote, please don't get carried away by social media challenge. You have autonomy. You can say no to your friends. Sambrata implored city teens taking part in TikTok and Instagram inspired trend. Please think about the pain it will cause your parents. When you're in that moment of adrenaline, please think about the consequences, he pleaded. There are so many other ways to have fun. The tragic trend has shocked others in the Big Apple as well. Oh my gosh, it's so sad. A Corona resident Maria Lazaros said, I see a lot of kids running up and down and doing flips on top of a moving train. My 10-year-old daughter gets excited when she sees them and says, oh my God, mummy, look at those kids on top of the subway. I tell her how dangerous it is and that she should never do it. Iris Moda, an 18-year-old community college student, says she sees surfers on a regular basis. I see subway surfers a lot, at least once a month, she said. They're mostly middle schoolers, so between 12 and 14, and it's mostly boys. So I'm surprised to hear that two girls fell. These kids know the dangers, but they're still doing it, Moda said. They're doing it for social media clout. These kids also don't see consequences. When you're 13, you never think you're going to be the kid that falls off the subway. Your brain doesn't work like that. You don't see the enormous chance you're taking with your life because, unfortunately, you don't appreciate the dangers when you're 13, 14. I mean, again, you never think it's going to be you that the consequences land on. George Navarro, a 22-year-old busboy from Queens, says it seems to be happening more than ever. They're very young. I feel like they're chasing an adrenaline rush and recognition on Instagram. Social media makes them do stupid things. In addition to Susano's death last week, an 11-year-old named Clayton Thomas was struck in the head by a low metal beam and unfortunately also killed while riding on top of a G train in Brooklyn on September 16th. Five more people have been killed in incidents this last year. Don't stand on top of trains. I don't know why I should have to say this in 2024. If you are a kid watching this, you're not supposed to be. It's age restricted. Don't do this. I know all your friends are doing this. I know you want to be part of the in crowd, but listen to the parents that have lost kids. I know you don't think it's going to be you that's going to fall off. None of your friends have ever fallen off, this, that, and the other. Don't put this kind of heartbreak on your parents. In, um, I'm pretty sure this is how aliens started, and I don't think we should open these, sacks of crazy, because that's no go. No, we should not open this. Slimy orange alien egg pods are discovered in a river and they're rapidly spreading. This looks like something you burn with fire with a Ripley like blowtorch at the end of Aliens 2. It's giving sci-fi nightmare vibes. Just in time for the spooky season, a bizarre slimy orange bag said to resemble a glowing dinosaur egg has been pulled from a river. And while scientists say they know what it is, a colony of bryozoans, slimy little hermaphrodites that cluster together to create a dinosaur egg-like pod, they're also puzzled as to why the creepy crew was literally hanging out in a canal in Ettrick, Holland. So it's in Holland, you guys. We don't have to worry. I'm just kidding. Holland, be very scared. The phenomenon does not normally occur in the Netherlands, says local ecologist and Ninjas. The big bag is formed by several animals together. At a certain point, they form a colony, and different colonies can then stick together again. The bag can become 2 meters in diameter, and that bag then attaches itself to something. No, no, burn it with fire. Burn it with fire. I'm just kidding. Well, then we must protect it. Burn it with fire, Roland. That's that's my number one, answer to everything. Like, can we use a flamethrower on it? Volunteers found the grotesque blob sticky or clinging to a floating island in the canal. Experts say that colonies can grow up to nearly 7 feet in diameter. Thank you, Grandpa Squab, for gifting one membership, and that went to it's either Edie or Eddie. So if it's uh, said a certain way, just let me know. I do try to, at least correct my terrible ability to read. So, welcome to the Church of Mo, Edie or Eddie. We have dark chocolate sarcasm and, well, maladaptive coping mechanisms, but we try not to hurt anyone. We just make really dark humor jokes. Let's see here. It's the first time that they've ever been discovered in Holland, so it's a very, very special story. The expert added that though it's aesthetically unsettling, the phenomenon is not in any way harmful. That's what they want you to think. If I see something that looks like that on the shores of, Deer Creek or the Erie Canal, we are going into lockdown. Reportedly hailing from the east coast of the United States, the microscopic weirdos were found as early as 1883 in Germany. Last spring, a cluster was spotted in Oklahoma, leading to far flung alien egg pod conspiracy theories. Since the 1990s, the species has appeared all over Western Europe and is rapidly spreading. Broizones are zooids with both female and male organs that allow them to clone themselves. Well, I mean, that takes the guesswork out of dating. So I will be really honest, Jedi Jess is awesome and sent me, some diamond painting coasters of kittens, and I spent all yesterday, listening or watching Daria and doing this. I basically, other than my rant stream, did nothing of note. I just kind of decompressed and did that. So now they are, being sealed and then that kind of thing. But yeah, no. So there you go. Not harmful, at least that's what they tell us. But I am taking no prisoners if that washes up on the shores of America and I'm president. Um, so I want to approach this story with dignity for the person who died, but the headline is just, well, it is what it is. A woman passes away after backing into a plane propeller while taking a picture at a Kansas airfield. D- I feel very bad for her entire family. Um, those are really loud. A woman passed away on Saturday after backing into a plane's propeller while trying to take a picture at an airfield in Kansas, officials said. The Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office said the woman was critically injured in the accident and unfortunately later passed away at the hospital, according to NBC News affiliate KSNW. The woman was identified at the sheriff's office as 37-year-old Amanda Gallagher of Wichita, Kansas. The sheriff's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment from NBC News. Air Capital Drop Zone, a Kansas based skydiving company, released a statement obtained by KSNW on Monday, stating that Gallagher was on one of its flights as an observer in order to take photos. After the airplane landed for unknown reason, as the next group of jumpers were boarding, she moved in front of the wing, a violation of basic safety procedures, the statement said. With her camera up to shoot photos as she did so, she stepped back slightly, moving toward and into a spinning propeller. Martin Myrtle, the company owner, went on to say that Gallagher was beautiful inside and out and that her death had a profound impact on the drop zone community. Her presence at the DZ was welcomed and she was loved, Myrtle said. Cook Airfield, a privately owned airport in Derby, about 15 miles south of Wichita, posted a statement to Facebook on Sunday confirming the woman's death and asked followers to keep her family and friends in mind. The airfield is also home of Air Capital Drop Zone. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of the young lady who died yesterday after a tragic accident with a airplane propeller on Cook Airfield, the airfield posted. A GoFundMe was started to help the Gallagher family with funeral expenses, described her as kind, adventurous, and creative. She was a loving daughter, sister, aunt, and friend and will be greatly missed, the website said. The Federal Aviation Administration said in a statement Monday it would be investigating the incident along with the National Transport Safety Board. So, yeah, it looks like she just wasn't maybe paying attention and got too close to the propeller. Puddletown, I'll put that up. I'm not reading it. So it's a really sad story, but it's also one of those like WTF stories. So I wanted to approach it with, kindness in case her family members are watching that, this is a terrible loss, unexpected. It's not something you could ever plan for or understand or even, kind of conjure up in your mind. Oh, I put your I put it up, Puddletown. It's fine. But it is one of those stories that you could kind of have a lot of fun with if it didn't involve the loss of human life. And it is absurd a little bit. In I am irritated with the entire teen population right now. But a teen who was, quote, prepared to take a life, end quote, to steal car kills Army vet while driving stolen vehicle with three popped tires. I know you're young, but that's a Snake Island visit right there. That is and not all teens, just ones that are driving or riding on top of subways and apparently prepared to take lives just because they want to steal a car. A 17-year-old from Missouri is accused of going on a multi-state crime spree that included a high-speed pursuit with police that ended with him striking another car and killing a 23-year-old U.S. Army veteran who was traveling with her mother. Anthony Giancolo was taken into custody in Oklahoma and charged with one count of first-degree murder, endangering others while eluding the police, and causing great bodily injury while eluding the police, larceny of an automobile, possession of a stolen vehicle, endangering others while eluding the police, and a pattern of criminal offenses, authorities announced. According to a news release from Rogers County, Oklahoma Sheriff's Office, officers with the Vinita Police Department at about 10:30 a.m. on October 20th, 2024, were in pursuit of a juvenile suspect in a stolen white Subaru Forester when they requested assistance from deputies. Police notified deputies that the suspect driving the vehicle was armed with a knife and possibly self-deletioning. E. Authorities lost track of the suspect as he crossed into Rogers County, so deputies saturated the area and eventually found the vehicle crashed in a ditch. Shortly after locating the crashed vehicle, a call came into Rogers County 911 dispatch from an individual reporting that a juvenile had just stolen his pickup truck and further advised that the stolen vehicle had a firearm inside. Authorities began searching for the vehicle, locating it traveling at a high rate of speed on a two-lane road. In an attempt to stop the fleeing car, deputies deployed stop sticks, also known as spike strips, but said the vehicle was able to avoid the deflation device. The suspect continued to speed back towards U.S. Route 66 when the Oklahoma Highway Patrol again deployed stop sticks, this time puncturing three of the vehicle's four tires. Despite losing three tires, the suspect allegedly kept fleeing and sped across railroad tracks onto Route 66, where he unfortunately struck a vehicle on the passenger side. Quote, the suspect vehicle rolled across the median to the east side of the road, and the vehicle was struck upon, and then spun out into the median, the sheriff's office said. Deputies took the suspect into custody and went to check on the citizens in the vehicle that was struck. The driver was airlifted to a Tulsa area hospital, and the passenger, her daughter, was declared deceased at the scene. Sir, I'm going to say this well, with all the mo I can muster, but screw you. It's never the dude that's running away or the woman that's soused up to the gills that, ends up dying. No, it's always some innocent person just driving their family around or a van full of nuns. It's never the person that is doing it, the bad thing or running away from the cops. And it is so doggone infuriating. I can't say that word, but it is just so doggone, pissing you off-ish. The passenger was later identified as Harold. These people done nothing, you know what I mean? When a car comes over a railroad track at 100 miles per hour, there's not a lot you can try to do to save your life or anyone around you. Rogers County Sheriff Scott Watson told Tulsa, Oklahoma CBS affiliate KOTV, and again, the only word that applies here is tragedy. Authorities said that the stolen vehicle involved in the fatal accident was the third car stolen by Gencola in only 24 hours. Gencola also allegedly made statements that he was fully prepared to take a life if he needed it to steal a car. He's currently being held in the Craig County Juvenile Detention Center. Harrell was a cheerleader at Rogers State University in Oklahoma. The school's athletic department posted the following statement on the RSU Hillcats Facebook page. The Rogers State Athletics family is deeply saddened to report the loss of Logan Harrell, a member of the Hillcat cheer team. Logan tragically passed on Sunday. Our thoughts and prayers are with her, her family, friends, and teammates. You just threw away your life and you ended another person's life. For what? To drive a car, to steal a car, to go joyriding? Just what a miserable, stupid choice to make, and Ugh, just gross. Well, for our Australian friends, one woman went up against, Australia and won. Not all of us do. Not many people in Australia win, but she managed to, take on Australia and survive a snake bite and days lost in the snowy mountains. A woman survives a snake bite during days lost in Australia's snowy mountains. A woman who went missing on a solo hike in the snowy mountains was found dazed and confused on Sunday, police said, after suffering a suspected snake bite while missing for nearly 2 weeks. Lovisa Schultzberg, 48, was spotted by rescuers as she walked along a brush trail in Kuziko National Park, southwest of the capital of Kinabara, on Sunday afternoon. I love that I pick these stories from places I know I'm gonna have all of the issues, reading. Yeah, well, isn't it their no, it should be starting their summer now. I don't know. I don't know Australia's time seasonal codes. I barely just learned Australia was a real place. New South Wales Police Superintendent Toby Lindsay said Monday that she was fortunate to be alive after being bitten by a snake, potentially a copperhead. Yeah, that is strange. We have copperheads here in Indiana, but I didn't know that they had gone worldwide. The venomous species can deliver a painful bite that can lead to death without medical attention. She advised that she was bitten by a snake approximately 4 days prior and had rolled her ankle and was dehydrated. She's in fact pretty fortunate to be alive and, went through a pretty tough time. It's not known how long Sonjberg was missing in the wilderness. She had last been seen driving a rented car on October 15th. Police only started investigating her whereabouts last Monday after the car rental company reported that their vehicle had not been returned. Officers tracked the car to Canandra, a former gold mining town near the mountains, and investigated the theory that Sonjberg, an avid photographer and experienced hiker, had become lost in the wilderness. Police sent up helicopters, planes, and deployed search teams by road and on foot and horseback for the last 6 days before spotting her on Sunday. The northern part of Kosakizu National Park recently reopened to visitors after annual closure during the winter. The park is closed 2 months earlier this year to allow aerial culling of deer, pigs, and wild horses, known as brumbies, in an effort to protect the alpine environment. Sonjberg has an Instagram account dedicated to images of wild horses, and members of Brumby advocacy groups expressed serious concern for her welfare on social media. Plans by the New South Wales National Parks and Wildlife Services to shoot brumbies from helicopters led to a failed legal bid to stop the cull this year. The government said that the cull was necessary to provide protection to native plants and animals in the alpine wilderness, which are vulnerable to damage from large numbers of feral animals. The Snowy Mountains are part of the Great Dividing Range, a mountainous region some 2,300 miles or 3,700 kilometers long that contains some of Australia's highest peaks. It's popular with hikers and skiers who visit nearby resorts during the annual ski season. Oh, so I didn't realize that horses were not native to Australia. I mean, I should have realized probably, but I never have sat down and thought about horses in Australia. I know you're shocked, but I can understand. I mean, part of me always feels bad when we have the annual deer hunt, even though I'm diametrically opposed to deer. I still feel bad that, unfortunately, the environment can't always support as many deer as, humanly possible. So I do feel bad, but, you know, those people study a lot with ecology, they know things, and oh, really? Interesting. Dingus is pretty ferocious, on stink bugs, so I could see it. I could see it. Now, I'm going to need all operators of Lord Chippy to please step up and let's get this guy going because we have a contestant. This particular foster mother, yes, a woman who is paid by the state to pay attention to children. That's Parenting 101. A foster mom left a special needs toddler in the bathtub alone for, quote, more than 30 minutes, end quote, to chat on the phone. What? What the hell? Uh, uh, I mean, I never even left the daggone room when my kids were in the bathtub. Mostly because as a parent, if you leave the room for 5 seconds, you end up with a floater in the tub. A and of course, she's from Indiana because why not? She would be from, Indiana. A 25-year-old mother in Indiana was arrested 5 months after she allegedly left her 21-month-old special needs foster care child unattended in a bathtub where unfortunately the child passed away. Hanlon Volpati was taken into custody last week and charged with one count of felony neglect of a dependent, resulting in death in the May 2024 drowning of young Nova Bryant, records reviewed by Law and Crime show. The incident took place on May 21st, 2024, while the victim was in the solo care of Volpati, a probable cause affidavit obtained by NBC affiliate WTHR reported. Volpati's husband was reportedly at work at the time. On the evening of May 21st, officers with the Brazil, Indiana Police Department responded to Volpati's home in an apartment complex uh, about 70 miles west of Indianapolis. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders immediately began to perform life saving measures on Nova and were able to get a faint pulse from the girl. Emergency medical personnel transported Nova to a hospital for treatment. Due to the severity of her condition, Nova was transferred to Riley Hospital. Now, I will say that Riley Hospital, Riley's Children's Hospital, what is one of the best children's hospital. And thank you, Swifty. I never thought I had a really good voice until someone said something on the internet. So thank you. Let me pop that down. And thank you for your 10th super chat on a live stream because they tend to tell us those things now. But I will say Riley's Children's Hospital is one of the best children's hospitals that I've seen. They are incredible, and I know they really care about kids. So the sad thing is that the list of victims are so much greater than this poor baby that passed away. It's the first responders that worked their butts off that will never forget, trying to save this poor little girl. The doctors and nurses who worked, incredibly hard to save this little child. I mean, these aren't things that you pack away and you get to forget. These first responders will always have a snapshot in their mind of this little child they tried to protect, they tried to save. And this foster mom just like effed off to nowhere for 30 minutes. Just ridiculous. Dingus, it's not going to get in your mouth. Leave the stink bug alone. You tear up the litter box when you eat stink bugs. Stop. In an interview with police, Volpati initially said that she put Nova in the bathtub with her two sons, both aged 4, while she left to get a drink. Police reportedly wrote in an affidavit. Volpati allegedly said that when she returned to the bathroom, Nova was unresponsive and floating on her back in the water. Volpati reportedly claimed that when she bathed the toddler, Nova always put her face down in the bathwater and likes to take a huge gulp of water. If you know this about a child you are watching, you do not leave that bathtub. You do not leave that room. especially if she has special needs, maybe doesn't have all of, the sort of stability in her trunk, in her torso, things like that. You do not leave children alone in the bathroom. Now, Nova had reportedly been born prematurely at 32 weeks and lived with multiple health problems. Her medical history included chronic feeding disorder, emesis, gastronomy tube dependent global developmental delay. Dingus, goofball Higgins. No, down, you dingus. He's like, I will get that stink bomb. I will get that stink bug. I did get a little spray bottle because I'm trying to keep the cats off my desk. Whether that will actually be successful, I don't know. She had a history of gastritis and premature moderate malnutrition, mortality disorder of a motility disorder of the intestine, oropharyngeal dysphagia, short stature, and spinal asymmetry. So this child was had an incredibly difficult time digesting and getting food into her system, along with a spinal asymmetry, short stature, and with an with the mouth and the tongue having dysphagia, so having a hard time swallowing, she's gonna need a lot of help with all of those things. She is maybe not gonna have the coordination. You should never leave a child in the bathroom. Just heads up in case anyone's wondering. Terre Haute NBC affiliate WTWO reported that 2 days after the incident, Volpati traveled to Clay County Sheriff's Office and requested to speak with one of the investigators on the case. When she met a detective, Volpati allegedly admitted she hadn't been, quote, completely honest, end quote, with the police in her previous statements. Volpati reportedly explained that after she put the kids in the tub at around 8:30, she went upstairs to get pajamas for the victim and was gone about 5 minutes before she heard one of her sons yell they found Nova floating in the tub. However, over the course of the conversation, Volpati allegedly revealed she was actually on the phone with a friend from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. and left the victim unattended for more than 30 minutes while she was on the phone in an upstairs bedroom. Volpati made her initial appearance in Clay County Court on October 25th and was ordered held on a $75,000 bond. Nova's biological parents, Selena Cockright and Kevin Bryant, told Indianapolis ABC affiliate WRTV that they hope that Volpati goes to prison for failing to take care of their daughter. I hope Nova gets justice the way she should because she deserves it. I want her to serve her time, Conkright told the station, speaking about Volpati. She shouldn't have had my daughter in the first place, but she shouldn't have left the room. That's parenting 101. Yes, it is. Well, if you have a rare dime like this, you might want to take it out of your piggy bank because apparently one like it just sold for 500K. A rare dime bought by an Ohio farm family and hidden for decade fetches 500K at an auction. An extraordinarily rare dime whose whereabouts have remained a mystery since the late 1970s has sold for just $500,000. The coin, which was struck by the U.S. Mint in San Francisco in 1975, depicts President Franklin D. Roosevelt and is one of just two known to exist without its distinctive S mint mark. Three sisters from Ohio inherited the dime after the death of their brother, who had kept it in a bank vault for more than 40 years. The coin sold for $506,250 in an online auction that concluded Sunday, according to Ivan Russell, president of Great Collections, an auction house uh, based in Irvine, California. And thank you, Puddletown. That's a great dad joke. What is Hunter Dingus like on a hot day? A mice cream cone. Yes, he does. My cats range from Garfield to John Doe from Seven. They don't have a middle ground. They're either like, "Mouse? What mouse? As long as they're not eating my lasagna, I don't know what you're talking about, lady," to, "We're just gonna torture and, screw around with this mouse until it dies and then be very mad that it dies." There is not a middle ground anywhere with my my cats. Thank you so much for the super chat, Puddletown. I still have to every time in my mind though, remind myself not to say Pudding Town. I am not gonna lie. I wish I could say I'm better at that. "Oh, Puddletown, they bring me a present," and then I graciously call for Mr. Mo to pick it up, or I get my super tongs, my yellow gloves, my hazmat suit, while saying, "Ew, ew, ew, ew," all the way to the trash can. I am not a mouse person. In our final story, I thought we would have something a little Halloweeny, and this just popped up. So apparently, Freddy Krueger actor Robert England and a young, Johnny Depp once got lunch in costume and terrified a waiter. I mean, kind of seems like something young Johnny Depp would do, and, regular Freddy Krueger would do. England is looking back on A Nightmare on Elm Street ahead of its 40th anniversary, recalling to people how he frightened an unsuspecting waiter one day. A Nightmare on Elm Street has been terrorizing teens for 40 years. At the time of its release on November 9th, 1984, the now iconic horror movie, written and directed by Wes Craven, first introduced audience to a whole new creation, a sadistic child unaliver who stalked high schoolers while they slept, turning his victims' dreams into living nightmares. That killer was Freddy Krueger, who became known for his disfigured face, ratty green and red striped sweater, and brown fedora, as well as his trademark leather hand glove adorned with metal claws. He was first brought to life on screen by Robert England, who portrayed the character in 6 films before retiring from the role after 2003's Freddy vs. Jason. The actor, now 77, originally appeared alongside Heather Langenkamp as Nancy Thomas, longtime Western star Johnny Saxon, Oscar nominee Ronnie Blakely, and a handful of teen stars, including Nick Corey and Johnny Depp, both in their feature film debut. My God, Johnny Depp looks so young then. I mean, I know time moves on and everything, but like, oh my gosh, you were young then. Filming of the slasher took place in various parts of Los Angeles over the summer in 1984. One of those locations was Hollywood's Ren Mar Studios, which previously served as the set of I Love Lucy and The Dick Van Dyke Show, among other TV sitcom classics. There was still stuff left over from the shows stacked in corners, with cobwebs and things. England recalled to people while promoting Nightmare's 4K ultra high definition release, noting that making the horror film there felt like we were just violating traditional family Americana. I do remember that kind of strange juxtaposition. England also recalls getting so sick of the catering on set that he, Corey, and Depp went out to lunch in between takes one day. "We just couldn't do it anymore. No more peanut butter and jelly and macaroni and cheese," he says, revealing that the three of them went across the street to a Thai restaurant. The only thing was that England was still in full costume as Freddy. While he says that everyone got used to me in Freddy drag, it wasn't the case for those not involved in the production. His appearance was frightening, and at least one of the employees at the restaurant refused to serve them. Yeah, I would have probably been like, new guy, that table's yours. Have fun, God bless, good luck." We went into this darkened Thai restaurant and we were sitting there. We were in the back towards the kitchen. A guy came from the back kitchen area. I remember it had a porthole window in the door and I had taken off the hat. The door opened, that fluorescent lighting from the kitchen spilled out and illuminated me. and I just sort of looked up and the guy and wasn't thinking. I was playing with my chopsticks, I think, and the poor guy dropped his whole tray of food for his other group of people that were sitting there waiting to be served, and he ran back into the kitchen. Laughing about it now, England says he must have seen, Freddy Krueger 12 or 14 feet away sitting at a booth with no hat on, a bit of fluorescent lighting that just sort of slashed across him. I think the guy is still running. That's just one of the many stories that both England and Camp 60 have from their time on the set of Nightmare. While looking back on the making of the movie, Langenkamp, who was 20 years old at the time, tells people that she and her co-star Amanda Weiss became good friends. She's now my best friend today, the actress shares, while also revealing they, along with Depp and Corey, would always hang out and have a lot of fun getting to know each other. She added, when you get thrown together on set, there's a lot you want to find out about each other and where you're from. And so there was a lot of that, but we were very comfortable very quickly. We all seemed to get along really well and didn't have any dramas or jilted loves or anything like was happening on set, what happens on some sets as far as I remember. Well, I mean, with a face like that, are you gonna have many online romance? I'm just kidding, just the teenagers. Yeah, this movie made me afraid to go to sleep, and I only dreamed about Care Bears, but I was like, "How the hell is Freddy gonna mess up Care Bears?" There was one hic if there was any hiccup among the co-stars, it was the fact that the costume team would sometimes mix up the clothes that belonged to Depp and Longcomp. There was a lot to laugh about, the actress continued. I know that Johnny and our jeans were the same size and often got mixed up. And so his, were longer than mine, and he would walk out in my little high water jeans, and we'd realize, "Oh, you've got my jeans on again." We would have a funny time like that. Speaking of Deb, while previously chatting with people, Longcamp shared how she felt like a veteran on the set of Nightmare compared to her co-star, who was just 21 years old during the time of filming. When I got on Nightmare on Elm Street, I had done several TV movies of the week and smaller projects. So I'd been on sets before, and I always think about my experience versus Johnny Depp, who literally was on his very first job ever. So I felt like the seasoned pro next to him because he'd really never been on a set. Although she might have felt like she knew what she was doing in that moment, I was probably faking it half the time, Camp shared, acknowledging that her first starring role was a very daunting experience. In honor of its 40th anniversary, Warner Brothers is releasing a Nightmare on Elms Street 4K UHD digital version on October the 1st and in physical media on October 15th. So if you want to buy this movie, I guess it's out now. You can get the ultra high definition super directors deluxe edition Nightmare on Elm Street if you'd like and you don't mind, sleeping with all the lights on. Those are the stories for tonight. I will be trying something new this week. So, Nightly Newsy News is going to move up to 6 p.m. Just to see if I get a little bit of a better balance with, family and streaming because the boys go to bed at about 8. So, by the time I'm set up for everything on stream and then, getting off of here, I usually just yell at them to get their showers and get ready for bed. It does take us an hour to get everyone showered because we have to remind them, like, soap, water, be in the shower. So, yes, we will be trying 6 PM, seeing if that works. I think that will be better just for a lot of different reasons, but I did wanna give you a heads up. I will, of course, be reminding you tomorrow with Mornings with Mo, and then tomorrow, I do think I will be going over the Sarah Boone divorce attorney lawyer letters because holy fazolies, is there a lot of cray cray all in there. And we can finally exercise all cray cray once we are done with those, at least until December the 2nd. But I will see you guys on the flip side. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and getting some lighter, informative, but not political news with me. So have a wonderful evening. Hope to see you guys with Mornings with Mo. And I will take my leave now. Have a great evening. Bye, you guys.